This is a strawberry smash. I wanted to make something red for my guest today because he co-produced Red Velvet for R5. Take 3 strawberries, fresh lime juice, 2 dashes of Peychauds bitters, some simple syrup, and Casamigos Blanco. Shake it and double strain it, and you have a refreshing red cocktail. Pete Nappi is a music producer and songwriter, and not only does he produce all the songs for his band, Ocean Park Standoff, but he has also produced for 30 Seconds to Mars, Shinedown, The Chainsmokers, Kesha, and Meghan Trainor, to name a few.
This is exciting, bro. I never make cocktails.
Pete also worked on a handful of songs with my brother Rocky for R5, and we've become really good friends over the past year. I'm Riker Lynch, and this is Glass Half Full. All right. Pete Nappi.
So what's up, bro?
Thanks for doing this, man.
Of course. Anything for you, bro.
We first met at, I believe it was Sayers in Hollywood.
Yes.
And you and your band, Ocean Park Standoff, newly signed to the label. We were out and about. And I think immediately we just had a great night.
Yeah,
and
it was amazing.
Since then we've become really good friends, both the bands. And
by the way, we're playing at Sayers Club.
Oh, really?
Not to plug or anything. I'm just saying you should come.
I definitely want to come.
Next month.
This won't be out by then.
So yeah, it'll probably be over.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm definitely going to be there. That'll be great.
I'll let you know when it is.
Definitely. Yeah, because I couldn't make the last one. The Belasco, is that the place?
Belasco.
Gotcha. So yeah.
That was fun, but this will be like we're going back to where we started, bro.
Yeah, exactly. We're going back, and so we all hung out that night, and then you went on and you wrote and produced Trading Time for R5 and Red Velvet, co-produced with Rocky, and Lay Your Head Down and Hurts Good.
Yes.
So we've kind of created this bond, and not that I've worked on them with you guys as much, but you and Rocky, I feel like, have this really good chemistry and kind of build off one another.
Yeah, Rocky's great. I mean, you were there during when we did Trading Time.
Yeah, I was there. I think I made coffee for everyone, but that was my extent of my thing.
But yeah,
but
you
you're
guys
from.
We're the best. I loved working on that stuff.
Yeah, thanks, man. We love working with
Red
you.
Velvet.
Red Velvet, yeah. That's why I went with the red drink.
Yeah.
Red Velvet, yeah. That was definitely a fan favorite, I think, and a band favorite for the moment, for sure.
I feel like that song for me, I just really loved how it sounded.
Yeah.
Like it was like super unique, but still like throwbacky.
Yeah, totally.
Like the other songs, I was like surprised that like, obviously I thought they were good songs, but like I really felt strongly about that song. And
Dope.
like I feel like what I like is not really what everyone else likes, like pop wise or whatever. So it was just like I was so surprised that you guys. Not surprised because If was an amazing song, but I was just like, damn, that song sounds so cool. Like, I don't know, I blast that song like every day. So.
Yeah, same. It's always fun when you finish, you have a newly finished song, like you just get the mix and you're like, it sounds great. And it's like something you worked on, but yet you're like a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
It's always a great feeling.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that happens quite often with you. I mean, you're working with 30 Seconds to Mars right now, and their stuff is just coming out. Is that something that's like coming out on the radio and you're like, oh, hell yeah?
Yeah, it's definitely really strange. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely really weird. Because I like, especially now, there's like billboards and stuff for it all around LA. And it's like weird, like spending so much time on something and then you're driving down the street and there's a billboard for the thing that you created.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to comprehend that properly.
How do you like maintain kind of like being humble and keep your feet on the ground when you're walking around seeing billboards of stuff you're working on all the time?
I don't really think about it.
Yeah?
Like I think about it in a different way because it's from an outside perspective. I feel like it's like, oh, there's a billboard for something that you did. Like you must feel this way or whatever. But I just don't. I just think I suck all the time.
What?
And it keeps me grounded. Like obviously
Okay.
I don't, but I'm just saying like I just am always trying to do better. And I just can't help that feeling, always trying to do better, whether I am doing better or not. Like I just can't help that feeling, so I don't really get caught up in it. I appreciate it.
Right.
I appreciate like the severity of it, but I don't get caught up in it.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, it's definitely.
At least I don't know. I mean, my friends could tell me differently. I hope that they would call me out if I did.
I think I think they would, and I would. I think we're close enough to where I would do that for you.
Yeah,
but you're definitely a very humble dude, and it's exciting to sort of meet you right as you're sort of taking off into this whole producing world. And you're from Long Island, so where did all of this love for music start?
I think my dad really is the one who kind of got me started. I mean, not real. I always wanted to do music. I always begged my parents from as an early age to get me a drum set because for some reason I just like playing drums.
Just for some reason?
I like the sound of it, whatever.
Okay.
And I always wanted to play the drums. So we kind of had a small house at the time on Long Island, and they said once we move to a bigger house, we'll get you a drum set. So we moved to another house, and for my 8th birthday, I got a drum set. And I just
8 years old, right on. Well,
yeah.
so why drums? Why not guitar or piano or anything? Why was drums first? Because you're the drummer in Ocean Park Standoff.
Yeah. I have no clue, dude. I just gravitated towards it. I don't really have an answer other than I just thought that was awesome. It was cool. And also my dad loved U2.
Okay.
That's his favorite band, and he brought me to a bunch of U2 concerts, and seeing a stadium full of people and the drummers I don't know. It was just for some reason I gravitated towards that. So
I definitely think that the drums are the most underrated. Maybe not underrated as far as fellow musicians go, but as far as the audience, they don't realize what they have with a good drummer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of the singer's right in the front, so that's obviously a very important part of the show. But you see acts nowadays, especially in 2018? 2018. Especially in 2018 where they just have the drum tracks or drum loops or whatever, and it's just it's just not the same. You have to have that live aspect. So
I mean, I think even just all instruments, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but I feel having a nasty bass player and a nasty drummer and keeping it together,
that's true. That's
special.
the backbone of the.
I mean, if most musicians kind of understand that, but like you said, the audience doesn't really understand that.
They don't really get what they don't really understand what, if those two players weren't there, they don't really understand what they're missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. But, so 8 years old, you get a drum set.
8 years old, I got my drum set. I got drum lessons, and I was just hooked, doing it all the time. And I mean, I feel like most musicians growing up at that time were noodling on GarageBand.
Right, yeah.
Everyone would just mess around. So I just kind of got hooked to that because I was damn, I could record this stuff and listen back to it. And it was just I don't know, it was just fun to mess around on that stuff. And so my brother played guitar and my dad played guitar, so we had guitars lying all around. So I think I started using GarageBand when I was 11. And I started getting piano lessons around 10 or 11.
Okay.
I just asked my parents to do that too.
So you was just loving music, all aspects of it.
Yeah.
Because your dad played and your brother played. Did you guys ever think about we should be a band together?
Yeah, we jammed around. Yeah.
Yeah.
My one time my brother had a graduation party from middle school or something dumb like that.
Nice.
And we set up on the back patio.
Yes.
All jammed.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
hilarious, but.
It's the best.
Yeah, that's when I started realizing I could record myself. And then luckily, my high school, I just went to a public high school on Long Island. It wasn't anything super special. But my teacher there who taught music theory also made sure that the kids had recording gear. And he had a Control 24. I think it's Digi-Design. Control 24, which is a full-on, mixing board. So he somehow convinced my public high school to buy this board, and we had recording rooms and 12
just
computers.
In a public high school?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He played with Billy Idol and J-Lo and Enrique Iglesias and stuff. He was a nasty drummer.
Oh, cool.
But he also taught music theory. His name is Mr. Dunn. And he just really pushed the school to keep getting like modern recording gear so that people, you know, like luckily my school had a good music program. So I was still doing band stuff, but like I was doing that stuff. And by that time, I already knew like theory pretty decently and everything because I was taking piano lessons.
Right.
So that's when I got like super into recording. Is when I got to high school, and I was like, what, 13? Is that when you get to high school?
Yeah, 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and for like my 14th birthday, I got Pro Tools myself. I begged my parents to get me Pro Tools. So then I got Pro Tools.
Okay.
And so I've been using Pro Tools for, what, 11, 12 years now?
Yeah, you're like a super expert on it. I've seen you work on that just for a hot second. You're like, can we just turn this down? You're like, yep. And it was like, done. And
a lot of people hate me because I do everything wrong. Like, I don't label any of my tracks. I don't clean up anything. I do everything extremely wrong, but it works out in the end.
Like, it works for me.
Like, if someone legit who went to, like, school properly for it, like, came and looked at my session, they would just kill me. They would just hate me.
Well, that's
luckily,
funny.
Before I send things to get mixed, that's when I clean it up.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I got to clean it up now.
Yeah, I have no choice.
You just send it all.
Yeah.
You're like, you figure it out.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, after high school, you went to Berkeley?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was awesome, dude. I went to school for percussion. I didn't do drum set. I did percussion.
So what does that entail then? What's the difference between that percussion and drumming?
Yeah, drums, like drum set is its own thing, and percussion is like involves marimba, xylophone, timpani, bongos, break drums, like anything that involves hitting something.
Yeah, when you said percussion, I was thinking, okay, so you like tambourine class and shakers and bongos. Like those are the three I thought of.
I was in a marimba ensemble.
Okay.
Like there was like 8 marimbas playing at the same time.
Awesome.
And it's fun. Like it's definitely fun doing that, but like it's very specific. And I did that because I went to school for film scoring because I wanted to really understand theory. And at that point, I had been recording myself playing drums and guitar and everything. Like I just was already making my own songs. And I attempted singing for a bit and never again.
Why not?
Never have it. I'm just garbage, dude. I'm like almost tone deaf. Thank God for auto-tune. But yeah, so I went to school to try and just like understand truly how to do things. And I got theory, but I wasn't like, you know, like someone who composes music for a living. You know, that's a completely different thing. So I just kept producing on the side. Like I still hit up people to come work and whatever and like do pop music. But I went to school for film scoring. I minored in conducting.
Wow.
And I did percussion like formality.
So you could be like the conductor of an orchestra. Like you would know how to do that.
Yeah, I don't know so much nowadays, but at the time, like I was taking private lessons in conducting and stuff like that. So.
What was a private lesson in conducting entail?
I think I forgot what song it was, what piece it was, but it was like, I think it was Strauss or something. And you just, like, there's so many things that you don't understand about conducting.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's probably a lot more than meets the eye, because to me it just looks like this.
Yeah, but you have to really, for someone who doesn't understand really what conducting is you have to take, generally you're doing an orchestral piece.
Right.
So you have to take every single part of the orchestra, read it at the same time, and make sure you cue people at the same exact time. I mean, at the proper
time. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like the drums come in right here, and you have to like let them know that they're supposed to play.
But you have to be reading every single instrument at the same time, essentially. All different clefs, bass clef, alto clef.
Right.
You know, so it's like you have to just understand a lot about what's going on. You have to study the piece, you know. And a lot of pieces change time signatures, tempos all the time. So it's like, it's not easy to do.
That's very intense. That's insane, because you would think like you would think like the musician's in charge of knowing when they're supposed to play and like how they're supposed to play. Is it just like a backup thing that in case they are? Does it really like an orchestral? You know, when they're composing for a movie or a live concert orchestra, like is it the conductor's job to really make sure that everyone
is together? Yes.
So
100%. It's like trying to record a song without a click track or something, which happens, you know,
right.
You could do it, but imagine doing a song that changes tempo and time signatures all the time without a click track.
So he's basically the conductor's basically the click track. Okay.
Yeah, like over 100 people trying to change at the same time. Like everyone's watching the conductor to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Right.
It's basically like a human metronome, if you want to put it that way.
Okay.
It's a lot of people don't understand how important.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like I mean, I think if I sat down and thought about it, I'd be like, he's probably doing this, but
most people probably don't.
You don't really go that deep with it. No. You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Because the music is generally really good when you go see a show or you go to see like an orchestral piece or whatever. It's like it sounds awesome because there's over 100 people playing in unison, beautiful music. So you don't really think about, you know, how that's happening.
Yeah, you just sort of enjoy it. Yeah, that's very true. And even some movies like still use full-on live orchestral pieces where, you know, they got to do like Pirates of the Caribbean. Who's that guy? Hans Zimmer. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's the conductor, right? Is that how that works?
No, I think he conducts. Yeah,
he's composing and conducting probably.
Yeah. A lot of composers don't conduct though.
Really?
Yeah, they have a conductor for it.
Oh, interesting.
Because I mean, it's like the same thing with like mixing too. Some people mix their own songs and some people... Right.
That makes sense.
Know what I'm saying? It's like that sort of thing.
Uh-huh. Do you do any mixing?
Yes. I don't like to.
You don't like to?
But I do.
So you would prefer to just write and produce the song and then have a mixer take
I've
the rest.
I've had songs come out that did really well that I mixed, but I just would rather not do that.
Why is that?
I think it's better to have a second opinion on things. Like a mixer's generally not changing your song. They're just trying to make it sound better. And if I already mix every song that I do, the best that I can possibly mix
it's already semi-mixed,
to the mixer. But sometimes they just like my mix better. You know, sometimes a mixer doesn't. They like my mix better, and it doesn't even mean that it's technically better. It's just people get used to things.
This whole industry is all based on opinions. Yeah. That's all it is.
So I mean, I definitely never want to mix my music. It's just a lot of work, and like I said, I'd rather have someone who does that full time as their job.
Right.
Do that, because I don't consider myself a great mixer. Sometimes I get lucky. That's how I think of it.
Luck and a little bit of preparation will take you a long way, my friend. Yeah.
I guess so, but I don't know. I hate it.
Did you ever do any like live conducting in school?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like part of the film scoring program, like most kids have to take conducting classes. I just chose to minor in it just because it all went together. Minoring, conducting, doing percussion, understanding how percussion works for orchestral pieces. Most orchestral pieces don't have drum set.
Right, yeah.
So I just try to do everything that made the most sense to do film scoring.
Gotcha.
But I was still producing on the side, like I said. But yeah, I did a bunch of like live conducting there.
Gotcha. So now
there was a bunch of classes actually that you would go to and you play the parts on the keyboard. So there would be a class of like 15 people, and one person would go up and the rest of the 14 people would like sight read a piece, and like you would be the violin section, I would be the viola section, this person would be the cello section, so you would all be playing on the keyboard with the sounds, and you would conduct the class. So it was just like, that's how you prepared.
Sort of like practice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Wow, very interesting. So you're in conducting, and you're doing film scoring. Your producing career, obviously, as we know, is taking off. You're doing a lot of big things producing. Have you done any film work? Any film scoring?
Yeah, I did, but nothing like super serious. Like while I was at Berkeley, I did an internship in London for like 3 or 4 months. I worked with this electronic composer, which was like perfect for me because I liked pop music, electronic music, whatever.
Right.
And he did like while I worked for him, we did iPad apps, music for iPad apps, and you had to like make everything, move together. It's hard to explain, but we did it for Comme des Garçons, which is like a fashion company.
Okay.
And they had like an app that was interactive. So if like you press this button, the music already going in the background had to match up with the music that's about to play when you press this. And like
Gotcha.
it had, so it was like things you need to think about. And we did a feature film, the music for a feature film that was at Sundance.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I've done like a bunch of short films. I've done like 20 short films or whatever.
Cool.
So nothing like crazy, just because I didn't super dive into it because the pop stuff like took off.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to eventually kind of circle back to maybe major film scoring, or are you set on?
Yeah, I would definitely love to do it. It's just like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's really a whole other world if you think about it.
I'd really need to commit to it.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't be able to do a good job. So I would really need to commit to it. But I would love to in the future, yeah. I think once I achieve the things that I want to achieve in pop music, or get close to it at least, I could maybe transition and do something else.
What is it that you want to achieve, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I feel like things are going in the right direction where, I just want things to progress. And once I feel like I'm satisfied, which I don't know if most people ever feel that way, who are, you're trying to do like legit stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if you're ever truly satisfied.
I think it's really hard for artists and creative types to be fulfilled and satisfied. I don't know if that's ever like it's kind of part of the drive.
Yeah.
Is that they're not satisfied, but I think it's healthy and good to just take a moment every once in a while and just look at where you came from, look where you are, and be grateful. And you can still have that hunger and that drive for wanting to do more. I think it's definitely a good competitive force to have. But well,
that's the thing I get nervous about is like the 30 Seconds of Mars thing. You say like you're driving around and you see billboards.
Yeah.
Like, most people would be like, yeah, that's amazing. I'm like, all right, like what's the next
What's
thing? And
next?
luckily the people around me, like my publishers and stuff, they call me up and they're like, all right, that's sick, but like what the hell are you doing now? Like, what do you do? And it's like, oh, you're right. Like, I need to just keep going forward. So I think eventually, once the circumstances I feel like are correct, which I don't know, maybe I feel like I don't know what the circumstances would be, but I think eventually I would like to do that, is do film scoring stuff.
Cool. Well, hey, maybe I'm directing a film and I need you to score it for me. That's very possible.
Let me know in 20 years.
I will. Exactly. Yeah. So your music producing is obviously on a roll and it's going. Where did that? Where was your first sort of little bit of success with that?
Well.
Was
like
it
with a song or something?
With a song or like after college, after Berkeley, like where did you get, like you got signed? Your publishing got signed
while I was still at Berkeley.
While you were at Berkeley?
Yeah.
So how did that go? What happened?
My publisher, Cara Diagordi.
Oh, okay. For those of you watching that don't know, Cara Diagordi is a very big songwriter.
Yes.
She's written some big songs.
Yeah, lots of songs.
She wrote that. I actually really like one of her songs. "Good Girls Go Bad," right?
Yeah.
She wrote, "Good Girls Go Bad." So, I love that song.
She taught a class at Berkeley, a songwriting class, and I was actually in England doing that internship when I got an email being like, "Hey, She was also a judge on American Idol,
right?
At a year or two before or whatever it was. So they were like, this American Idol judge, she's a big songwriter, she's teaching a class at Berkeley. Send your songs in, write essentially like an essay of why you want to be in this class." So I was like, I should probably do that. Like I want to do this. Is like I love doing this. I might as well like apply and see if I could get in. I wasn't sure if I could get in because, I mean, I wasn't a songwriting major, but I loved doing that. I still did it all the time. Like, I was in, like, songwriting, like, competitions and stuff at Berkeley.
Oh, cool.
I just didn't do it.
Like, you just didn't major in it, yeah.
So I applied to be in it. I got in. I think there was, like, 250 kids that applied.
So you wrote an email and sent in your songs to apply? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the songs I just been working on.
Okay. How many did you send in?
2, I think.
2 songs, and you write
just like why, just like the lyrics and like why you wrote this and like why you want to do this essentially. I think from what I can remember. So so like 250 kids applied, and I was like one of like 22 or 25 or something that got in, and essentially, I just did the class. You wrote songs every week, and she critiqued them. And I just kept in contact with her. I was working with this other girl at the time named Sarah Walk. She's an amazing writer, singer. Like, she's incredible. And so we were just writing songs, and she told us to keep working on stuff. And eventually, she was just like, all right, we're signing you to our publishing company and with Universal, like a JV. So I did that, and I just left school early and moved to LA.
Really? Mm-hmm. So she was like, we're signing you, and you're just like, sweet, I'm in LA.
Yeah.
What was the move like?
Like moving from Boston to LA? Well, I signed, I pretty much like doubled up on classes. So I did a summer semester and just did as many classes as possible. I had like 2 classes left when I left.
Oh, okay.
When I left college, which I thought I could probably do eventually online.
Yeah, and so you pretty much completed it.
Almost. But yeah. So so that semester, that summer, while I was doing all those extra classes, I like went out to LA just to like scope it out for like 2 weeks, and it ended up being that I signed the publishing deal on my birthday.
Oh, really?
In LA during those like 2 weeks that I was out there. And my first session, which if anyone knows songwriting or whatever watching, my first session was with Jason Evigan.
Okay, yeah.
He's like a super legit writer.
Yeah.
And Taylor Barrett, who's like another cool writer. So
Jason Evigan, what was his latest big one that he did? Just for the people watching.
I think don't quote me on this, but I think he did What Lovers Do. Is that thing? Maroon 5?
Did he do that one? That seems like an Evigan. It seems like his
But
one.
he did like Heart Attack and
Heart Attack for Demi Lovato. That's that's the recent one.
That was like one of his like first big ones. And so at the time he like did Heart Attack, and I was like, oh damn.
Evigan. Jason Evigan wrote Billion Hits for Ross on Austin and Alley. There we go.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, just look Jason Evigan up. He's like super legit, super cool dude. And that was my first session in LA. I was like, oh, this is my first session.
You're like, I got this.
Yeah, which is not how it goes. I just got lucky, but so yeah, I signed my publishing deal when I was 20 on my 21st birthday in LA. And then I just like scoped it out, kind of like got the feel of it, and then about like a month later I finished up those summer classes and then just immediately moved out there and just started working. Kara just set me up, and
sessions.
People at David Gray, who my publisher is at Universal, they just set me up with like everyone.
Wow.
So, and then I just went deep with it.
So, are you in at this point? You're out in LA. Is Ocean Park Standoff a thing yet?
No, at that point it wouldn't be a thing for at least like another probably 2 years.
Okay, wow. So you have 2 years in LA just writing as a writer producer.
Yep.
And what did you have any like releases out of that?
Yeah, at the time I did a song. My first real cut was with this chick Delta Goodrem. She's like amazing singer. She's like a big pop star in Australia. Okay. And I did like a ballad with her, and that was like my first like major release through like I don't think it was with Sony or something. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then my second like official real release was with this band called Shinedown, which I did a song called State of My Head. I produced it and mixed it actually. Oh. And it ended up being the #1 active rock song of 2016.
Nice.
It was like #1 on Billboard. I think it's hard rock charts or something. I don't know.
Right.
Which I wasn't like trying to do hard rock or whatever.
Yeah, it just works out.
Yeah. It was more along the like Imagine Dragons line. It was like pop, but they're like kind of like harder rock band.
Gotcha.
So that was like my first like big thing, and that was all before
OPS.
Standoff. Yeah. And I wrote it with Ethan actually, that song.
Okay.
So.
When did you meet Ethan?
Well, Ethan
Thompson, Ocean Park Standoff.
Yeah, the singer of my band, great writer, singer. He was in that class also with Kara.
Okay.
At Berkeley. And Charlie Puth was also in that class.
Really?
Betty Who, just knew him. Betty Who, she's like an artist. She was in that class. Trying to think, like there's a bunch of people who are just doing like legit stuff there.
Wow.
In that class. So Ethan was also in that class with me. And but we weren't like friends and we didn't work in that class forever. We were like acquaintances, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been working out in LA for a bit, and then Kara hit me up and was like, "Hey, Ethan would be down to write. Do you want to do a session with him?" I'm like, "Sure." I always thought he was talented. So he came over. We wrote the worst song in the world. It was fucking garbage. It was terrible. But we just liked hanging out. Like we were friends. So we just kept hanging out, and then we started like, all right, let's like write something else, and then I would bring him in on stuff, or you know, vice versa. And then I had this kid when I first moved to LA. I worked with him, and so I did this track like months before I like set them up. Those you know, Ethan and that other kid. So I was like, guys, go right to this track, because I was like doing something and they were both hitting me up. So I was like, go right to this track I just did. Like, it's cool. You guys will like each other, whatever. So they ended up writing it, and then that was the Shinedown song. We sent it to Atlantic, and they loved it, and they released it. So
what's the process? So when you finish a song and you're like, okay, we think this is good, what's the process of trying to get a band or artist to cut it?
I mean, it's always different. It's just basically relationships. So luckily, like I said, I have publishers, and I have a manager who works at a label also. So that is just easily my lane for anything, because I could just send them a song and they will automatically do it without me asking, because they have an idea for the song.
Right.
And they know every A&R or whatever. But it just is, it's always different. Like I could work with you guys and then just be like, hey, I just wrote the song, and send it directly to you guys, and you're like, oh, this is perfect for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's always different. You never know. But it's basically just upon relationships.
Gotcha.
That's what it's based upon. So yeah, as long as you write good songs, someone will do it.
Do you have any secrets, or why, like how, like why are songs good and why are some songs not good? I mean, I know it's a very opinionated, creative art, but what do you think makes it good?
I mean, obviously there's the things like, oh, good voice, good lyrics, or whatever. That's all objective. You know, it's like you could like that voice, but I can't. But honestly, it's like just whatever you think is good. It's everyone has their own opinion. Something that is amazing, for me personally, I just like get a feeling that I just, I can't really describe it. It's just like, I like this, and I don't know why.
Isn't that like something great about music? It's like it's so, you just feel it.
Yeah.
And it's the most universal language. Like there's music in every part of the world of some form. Mm-hmm. Everyone sort of understands that rhythm, and just like you said, it's just you get a feeling. Yeah,
and I like I said, it's lot of people. The difference that I've seen, not saying that I'm anyone in the world or in the music industry, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand that feeling, or just don't can't understand that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen a lot of like producers come in and out, and they've been trying, or writers, they're trying to write what they think is on the radio, or like, they're trying to follow something instead of just like trying to like go with what they think is good, which you could be trying to write a pop song and still feel it and understand that feeling or the music, you know what I'm saying? But it's like a lot of people they're just like are writing to write because they think that's what it is, that's what it should be, and it's like that's not the way to do it. And honestly, it's very hard to write a really good pop song.
It is.
Like people write it all day long, all over the world, write songs to try and just write one hit. And it's pretty much really hard. Like most people don't understand how hard it is, but because you hear a pop song and like
it sounds so simple, but they've worked on it for a year.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very strange business that we're in.
It is indeed. Yeah, I'm glad that people like you and Rocky and Ross are taking the reins of writing the newest pop songs, because I just don't enjoy that side of the business. So I'm glad awesome, talented people like you are doing that part, because I'm a fan.
Thanks,
I'm a big Pete Nappi fan for sure. So
thanks, bro.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
So before we let you go here, I do want to know Ocean Park Standoff. How did that all come about?
So going back to my publisher at Universal, David Gray, I had a meeting with him, just like catching up, whatever, and he was like, "Go meet with this this dude over at Interscope, I think it was. His name's Nick Roth, and Nick was like a day-to-day manager at the time. I think he was an A&R too there, but he day-to-day managed Samantha and some other people.
Samantha Ronson.
Yeah, the girl in my band, Samantha Ronson. Yeah.
Samantha Ronson, Mark Ronson's sister.
Yes. So I went over there, had a meeting with Nick, and he was like, I played him some music. I played him this song, actually, which is a funny story. I played him this song called Make Like Money. It was such a funny song, dude. I loved it. And everyone like reacted to it. It was like a really good song. The chick that I wrote it with, she was signed to Epic at the time. And that was going to be her next single. And so I played that for Nick, and he was like, why don't you, and this girl, her name's Jude, and now she's actually the lead in this show called Star. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's people who made Empire. They made like another music show on Fox. It's called Star. So me and Jude went over and worked with Samantha, and we just like wrote a song, whatever. But me and Samantha like really like hit it off, and we started working on stuff. Just, I think she was like gonna put out like a DJ like solo album or something. So I was just like helping her out with that, and we were just working on random stuff, but we weren't really like getting anywhere, because like every time we would get together, we would just like nerd out on like gear and like stuff like that. So I was like, why don't I bring in my friend Ethan? I just had the song with Shinedown with him. We just wrote a bunch of great songs. Like, he's got a good voice. Anyway, so Ethan comes in. The first song we wrote was Lost Boys.
Okay.
The second song we wrote was Good News, which are, I don't know if the people watching know, but they'll
be checking it out.
Yeah,
for
those
sure.
are the songs on our first EP, our first album. So, yeah.
So Lost Boys and Good News. First two songs, all three of you wrote together.
Yeah. So we wrote those songs, and pretty much we wrote like 7 songs, and like 4 of them are on the EP that we put out last year. So we're like, damn, like this is good. Like we should probably do something with this. And Mark actually, because we were all doing different things at the time, and like a couple months goes on, and Mark was just like really into Good News, and he told Samantha like, yo, you should like see what these kids are doing. Maybe you should do something with them, like seriously. And we're like, all right, cool. So Samantha calls us and was like, yeah, Mark likes it. Like we should probably like do more. So make a long story short, she ended up giving the songs to this guy named Renee Mata. He's a super cool dude, and he just like knows everyone. So Samantha met up with Renee in New York, And he was like, what are you working on? Like, what are you doing? Like, I see you in the studio all the time. Like, what are you working on? She's like, no, I don't really have anything. I don't want to play anything. Like, no. And he was like, come on, like, show me some stuff. He's like, well, I got this stuff with these 2 kids, Pete and Ethan. Yeah, I don't know. So he's like, you got to send it to me. So Samantha sent it to him. He listened to it, showed Mio, the head of Hollywood Records, vice president. Mm-hmm. And Mio called us the next day and said, what are you guys doing with this? Like, what are you doing? We're like, oh, we're just, writing whatever. He's like, you guys are going to be a band, and we're going to sign you guys. Like, you need to come in and, like, have a meeting with us. We want to sign you. So we're like, all right.
You're like, dope.
We're being a band. So, and at the time, I was working with 30 Seconds to Mars, too. So I basically gave that time span of us negotiating the deal and whatever. So I once we signed the deal, I would stop working with 30 Seconds to Mars. Mm. So, but that was like 7 months. We were negotiating the deal just because, there was no rush on anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how everything fell into place.
And then a couple months later, we're at Sayers hanging out. The 2 bands. Yeah. So. Look at that. That's cool. Sometimes things just work out simply,
Honestly, that's pretty much, luckily, how my life has always gone. It's not necessarily what I thought it would be, but it's better than what I would think it would be. Like,
right.
It's very stressful sometimes and this, that, whatever, but it's always worked out. I don't know how or why. I guess I'm just lucky, but everything generally just works out. I'm pretty lucky with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, bro.
I hope you enjoyed your strawberry smash.
Oh, this was delicious.
It's looking like...
I got to get the recipe.
I'll give it to you. It's pretty simple. It's all about just good strawberries,
Yeah, you got to get that Casamigos.
But, yeah, man, I very much enjoyed getting to know your story a little bit.
Yeah,
and I will definitely be at Sayers next month.
Hell yeah.
To see the show.
Thanks for caring about my story.
You're welcome. Well, it's exciting to hear kind of where you come from, and yes, you've had a good amount of producing and songwriting success, but there's still, the sky's the limit. So it's exciting to sort of have you on before, you're Max Martin and every song you hear on the radio you wrote.
I mean, I hope so.
So it's definitely possible, man. You're a very talented writer and very talented producer. Otherwise, you would not have been producing or co-producing for the band. So
thanks,
for one of my bands, I should say.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll do some Driver era stuff.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah.
It'd be dope. Well, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Cheers,
you.
Bro.
Cheers.
Beautiful.
Excellent.